What if just enough prophecies came true to change everything we believe in? In this mysterious episode of our Fringe-inspired tarot series, we cross the threshold where prophecy stops being speculation and starts becoming belief. Using 6 tarot questions, we explore the origins of true foresight, who receives these messages, and the chilling cost behind them. As society begins to accept prophecy as real, what future awaits us when the unknown becomes undeniable? Hello, everybody. Welcome back, and welcome if this is your first time on my channel. We are going to hop right into question 1 using the oracle cards that do not read my mind and don't care what I think. So question 1, is there really such a thing as prophecy? So is it real? Is it illusion? Is it manipulation? Is it misunderstood? Is it intuition? Let's take a look. Is there really such a thing as prophecy? Whoa. So our first card is a streetcar named Desire. So I think with that card, it is actually saying we would kind of like there to be such a thing as prophecy. It just puts a little excitement into life when there is such a thing, when we have that in our head that it's possible. Then we have bringing up baby. It's a lot of fun if you think about simplistic prophecy. In other words, like bringing up baby. When somebody's pregnant, it's a lot of fun to try and decide, are they having a girl or a boy? To just kind of guess, and to also do the same as to what date perhaps that they'll be born, regardless of what the doctor may say as to the due date. A lot of us know that that's not factual many times. And just having fun with kind of prophesying what a child might decide to be like or be when they grow up, and just small things like that. We enjoy having a little fun with that kind of thing. And we have the 39 steps. Sometimes we also tend to want to determine, kind of guessing the death dates too, our own, and maybe what we might pass on from. So there's always some kind of mystery building in our life. We want there to be prophecy. We do a lot of prophesying on our own just for fun. In, like I said, with births, with what our children will become, which job we might end up getting when we've applied for more than one, and looking into, or considering what kind of death we will have, or where we'll pass. Will we pass peacefully, and so on. Then there's the fog. Interestingly, with the fog, that just tells us we really don't know. The prophecy in these small cases, okay, the prophecy it's real enough to us, but it's more intuitive, not necessarily a life-changing kind of prophecy. There are life-changing prophecies. If somebody, prophesies the world is going to end, or the asteroid is going to hit the world, and the asteroid hits the world, well, I'd say they probably got the prophecy right. So anyway, most of life is a fog. We don't have the ability to be able to do that, to prophesy everything. So here we have Independence Day, mother and child reunion, and bus stop. And with Independence Day, this is kind of those people who work independently, those who spend their time looking for prophecy, looking for predictions in whatever way that they look for predictions. This could be through dice, it can be through cards, it can be through scrying, it can be through oracle cards, it can be through throwing sticks, throwing bones. There's a lot of different ways for things to be predicted. And then with the mother and child reunion, it is just pretty much our, under streetcar, it's our desire, but it's also our quest for meaning of life. Giving a little more zeal, I guess you could say, to life. But there is definitely a reason that these prophecies don't all come at once, that we don't get them constantly. Okay, kind of like on bus stop. You go, you stand at the bus stop, you get on the bus, so there's one prophecy. You go a ways, you get off the bus, then you go and you get on another bus, prophecy. And so it's not a constant thing for most people. But looks like there is definitely such a thing as prophecy. Because since it is something that we desire, we can also manifest that. So if it was something we never thought about, it wouldn't matter, and it probably wouldn't exist. But it is a way to connect a little more with life, to feel a part of things. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to share. We have the moon. Yeah, we have a desire to see more than just half of everything. We want things to be bright and clear, not half lit like what the moon does. We don't want there to be shadows to anything. We want to be able to see what's happening if we can. And Wheel of Fortune, it kind of takes the form of a game, I guess you could say, when you're trying to guess the weight of the baby, the sex of the baby, the date of birth, and so on, or what your child is going to grow up to be, what their next grade is going to be on their test, that kind of thing. So it becomes kind of a game, a fun game. The Hermit. Yeah, this is being wise beyond your years. And, when you're elderly, it is normal to consider death, normal to consider how you might die, how you might prefer to die, and using the wisdom that you've gained over the years to do a little bit of prophesying yourself. The Page of Wands. Yeah, this is the message, or the newness of the energy. The message of the energy is that we just can't know everything. A lot of life remains in a fog, because if it didn't, if we knew everything ahead of time, there wouldn't be a whole lot of challenge to life. And Nine of Pentacles, yeah, there are definitely some people who this is their lifestyle. This is what they do. They read cards, they throw dice, they throw bones, they prophesy for people. And some of it is very simple work, and others not so simple. The Five of Swords. Yeah, with the Five of Swords, sometimes we can feel very chaotic in our communication. So with Mother and Child Reunion, this card is about a quest for meaning. So being able to understand life a little bit better. And, understanding the communication of the signs and other people and anything that you need to know more about. have it be a little more simple. And then we have justice on bus stop. So justice is, she has a balance. It needs to be balanced. So there would be no justice in being able to know everything. That would not be a balance at all. And finding truth, justice is about truth also. Prophesying is about finding truth, about understanding the truth, getting the truth, gaining the truth, making your way to the truth. So the answer to the question, is there really such a thing as prophecy? I'm going to say yes, there is. So let us clean up the cards here. And if this is your first time here, my cleanup process is a little slower than some tarot channels, but I like to do it this way because then I know that my cards are mixed already, even before I shuffle them. And if I get a repeat card, I know that it's not because I didn't shuffle well enough. It's actually meant to come into the reading. And I do the same thing with the oracle cards. I just kind of grab at random and toss them at a random spot within the deck. So any repeat cards, I know are cards that are supposed to be there. All right, so we're going to move on to question 2. Where do true prophetic insights come from? In other words, where's their origin point? Is it divine? Is it alien? Is it interdimensional, subconscious, artificial? Where do true prophetic insights come from? So we have, I've never been to me. So from that card, I kind of get the idea that these prophetic insights do not come from us specifically. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what other cards come, but that's my first impression here. They do not come from us specifically. Meaning us as just the human that we are, not going any deeper than human. And then we have the Patriot. I think those that end up having true prophetic insights have a very strong belief in prophetic insights. There is not even a shadow of a doubt that they don't exist. And here we have Forrest Gump. They're also open to the fact that a prophetic insight can be about anything. As Forrest Gump says, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So when you are one of those people who gets true prophetic insights, you don't try to figure out what your next prophetic insight is going to be. You wait for it to come to you because there's no way for you to actually know. And I think, before I pull this card, I think with this, I've never been to me. I think most people don't have this kind of strong belief. And there are even some that do, that still are not true prophets. There are those, of course, who do their best to try and pretend that they are true prophets. And then there's true prophets who probably try to hide what they can do behind a mask with something else. And we have turn, turn, turn. 7 years in Tibet. And a horse with no name. I think the ability of someone who does have true prophetic insights, it comes from doing a lot of personal introspection. It comes perhaps from doing some training with people. Well, many of the, I don't know if I want to say, do I want to say Eastern countries? They have practices like we do not have. I'm in the United States, in the Western world. So there are those who actually have studied and learned how to open up their mind to whatever is out there to such a degree that they not only have they made space for prophetic insights, they know how to step out of their mind and into the unknown to get the information that they need, that they want to get, that they, when they're called to do so. So let's take a look at tarot and see. So what we're discovering is that it is a human-based origin point, at least the kind of prophetic insights that we know. So we have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, with the Seven of Swords, there's just, for most people, there's just not enough information to go that far. You might get a little inkling of something, but hesitate to say anything because you really don't know how truthful it is. That's for most people. And then you have the Sun. You have those who have a great deal of clarity because they have the belief that they have, that there's no doubt that there is prophetic insight is a real thing coming from them or even someone they know. And the Hermit, again, in this position, the Hermit has a lot of wisdom and knows, just like it says here, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. The Hermit has spent a lot of time on their own in personal introspection, has taken the beliefs, the things that they believe in, and put them neatly in the mind, and the things that they don't need or the things that they don't believe in any longer, toss that out of the window. So they have a lot of room to work with. And the Ace of Wands, the potential for anger, overreaction, that kind of thing, the potential for that towards people who do prophetic insights is, well, there's no limit to it. Just depends on who they're dealing with. So a lot of times the mask hiding who they are is a necessity, or they feel it's a necessity. Two of Cups. Yes, this is spending time getting to know yourself, connecting with yourself, the light, the dark, the good, the bad, and so on. Learning who you are. That's the personal introspection. And with the Ace of Cups, this is spending time in, again, we're going to say Eastern countries where they have practices that are kind of normal to their daily life, and working very hard to understand every aspect of our intuition. And then we have Four of Wands. Yeah, the people who are able to do this are very, very at home. It is a passionate place for them. It's what sends fire through their bones. It's a very passionate place for them to be. So in our case, the prophetic insights that we hear of, that we see, actually come from within us. Maybe it's our higher self. Doesn't really give that. It just shows that it is higher mind, or at least a deeper knowing of things through a lot of study and a lot of work, at least for most who have the ability. So let us pick up the cards and see what comes next with question 3. And if you are new to my channel, you may, I will just say may, be hearing some strange noises in the background, which would be my Chihuahua snoring. He very much enjoys being a part of my recording. He adds his 2 cents in with how nice of a nap he's actually having, how deep of a nap he's having, so he snores. I don't think there is a video that I have on this channel that doesn't have him snoring in it. So be prepared for that. Just want to always make sure that people know where those odd noises are coming from, and they're not thinking, geez, is that her microphone, or, what is going on in the background there? Well, that's what it is. Life goes on, whether you're recording or not. Okay, so question 3. Who receives prophecy and why them? Okay, chosen by fate, cursed, genetically tuned, or stumbled into. And a little bit of this we saw with certain people in question 2, those who have studied, okay, and have gotten to know more about themselves. But let's see what question 3 actually shares with us. Who receives prophecy and why them? So, Field of Dreams, they build it. They build the ability to have the prophetic insights or prophetic visions that they have. It's a powerful thing. And that could also be taken to say they're built for it. So in other words, depending on what you believe about the afterlife and, the planning that gets done before you're born, they may very well have been built to be able to do this due to many experiences or certain experiences that they've had and so forth. They may, when I say built, I'm just saying life was built around making sure that they have prophetic insights and visions in this lifetime. There's the Patriot card again. No doubts, absolutely no doubts that what is going on, or that prophetic visions and insights are real. They believe in them, and I'm going to say they've actually come into this life with that being a part of the plan. Okay, we have Ghost. I think to some degree, some individuals, it is a passed on gift. In other words, when a person who has prophetic insights, who has the ability to have prophetic visions, when they pass on, I feel that they have the opportunity to pass their gift on to someone else. So it is possible that all of a sudden, even if you've never had this gift, suddenly somebody that did passes on, and you all of a sudden have the gift. They've been able to somehow pass it on to you. And then we have vertigo. I believe this card is saying that there are different things that can happen when you are about to have a prophetic vision or prophetic insight of some sort. Some people might experience dizziness. So in essence, if there is somebody that you know that has insights like this or visions like this, and they've been to the doctor with vertigo, they've been to the doctor with headaches, they've been, whatever physical symptom might be a part of things. This would be, and not being able to find anything wrong with them whatsoever. Well, it's because they're a prophet. And it's the unfortunate circumstance, apparently here. Unfortunate circumstance to it. Then we have Hunger Games. Let Your Love Flow. And the Poseidon Adventure. Another part of this vertigo could also be feeling as though, and this might actually be more the case than the previous health thing, although that is valid, that they feel like sometimes they're going way down the rabbit hole to more depth than what the human race can probably actually handle. And we have the Hunger Games here. If they're at all well known, what they bring forth in their prophetic insights, everybody is watching. Maybe it's a televised thing, or maybe that person has become extremely well known on social media, not by their own hand perhaps, but by somebody who knows them and kind of reports on their behalf, okay? But sometimes some of the information that comes forth, because of its unpleasant nature, it is very difficult to share. And if you've seen the Hunger Games, you know what a disturbing concept that whole series is. And that is not an impossibility for somebody who receives prophecy to get that kind of information. With Let Your Love Flow, this is just showing that they are very in tune, very connected, which is part of why they can do what they do. But again, they were built for this. They came into this life with this plan. Even though things could be turned totally upside down by what they could do. The love frequency is a huge powerhouse for them in this case. Always keeping that loving themselves, okay? When they can love themselves and they can embrace life and be authentic in how they express things. No matter what comes forward, they can handle it. Upside down or not, disaster or not, horrifying visions or not. So let's see what tarot has to share. Okay. All right, so we start out with the Eight of Pentacles. Yes, they worked to build this plan, this life from spirit. And they have to continue to work toward this goal, to train. Even though they may not remember, this is what they built for themselves. Things will be put in their path as they grow to allow them to continue working towards this life goal. 5 of Swords. Yeah, where there are those people who have absolutely no belief, no faith in prophetic visions or insights. These people, they never doubt. There's just never a doubt that they are correct about what they know. 4 of Swords is another death card. So when I was talking about the gift being passed on from a deceased loved one or a deceased person to someone else, this is just saying yes, it's very possible. 6 of Pentacles. The harmony in all this is knowing what to share. And that's probably the toughest thing, because some of the things that when they go down the rabbit hole, some of the things, again, are not exactly what you would term pleasant, but they're at peace with themselves for what they give, because they know that they're giving truth. Judgment. They know they've been called to do this work. And there does come a point in time in their life when the experiences that they've had have prepared them enough to be able to hear that call and say, okay, now's the time. Now you need to start doing the work. Ace of Wands. Their passion for this, the love that they have for what they do and for themselves and for being connected the way they are, there's no limit to what they can bring forth. No limit to that passion for them. Strength. Yes, it takes a lot of strength for these individuals to tell people about the things that might happen or that they see happening. And in most cases, when they're true prophetic insights, they do come true. All right, so let us pick up the cards yet again and move on to question 4. We have 6 questions in this Fringe-inspired episode 10. Also, if you're enjoying this reading, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe, and also maybe to share with others so that the channel can grow, and most importantly, to comment. I love to read comments. I do. And I'd love to hear what you're seeing in the cards. If you're a card reader and you're enjoying, kind of checking it out and seeing what you're finding from it, share with me. I would love to see that. All right, so let's get these put away and get on to question 4. Okay, so question 4. What is the hidden cost of true prophecy? And as we've determined, every gift has a price. Is it sanity? Is it health? Is it relationships, time, freedom, reality itself? And I know we discussed headaches and, some physical things that cannot be verified by any medical profession. But let's see how much further it goes. So we have Princess Bride. I feel like with this one, it says that yes, it definitely can cost you relationships, because not everybody's going to understand or believe as you do. So I think relationships, when you find true love, you find true love. That person is going to support you and believe in you, even if they don't believe in the prophecies. They're going to believe in you. Then again, we have the Poseidon adventure. Not everybody enjoys living in an upside down world, or feeling like they're underwater and can't breathe, which means it could be very difficult to make friends, have relationships other than love relationships. It might be very difficult to do that. So you might only have a few friends that really stick by you, a few family members that really stick by you. Your circle may be very, very small. Fried green tomatoes. Yeah, we seem to be focusing on relationships here, because in fried green tomatoes, these relationships are ones of that they can't be broken. They're not going to be broken. These people are destined to be together. And it's almost as though, especially with fried green tomatoes, it's almost as though when we talked about the person being built in spirit for this life to be a person who has true prophetic insights, that they had contracts with other people that they made who agreed to come in and be a huge support system for them. They may not meet them right away. They may meet them at different times in their life, but they're a true support system. Whoa, almost lost that whole pile. And we have the Patriot again. That's 3 times now. 3, 4? Anyway, so believing as they do. If someone were to say you have to change the way that you believe, there's no way that they could do it. They just couldn't. It is wired into them, wired into their belief system, and that's where it's going to stay. You will never be able to change the mind of someone who has true prophetic insights. They know what they know. They work for what they work for. They are who they are. So you're either going to accept them for that or you're not. Then we have the Bone Collector. I've Never Been to Me. And Patch Adams. So what these people have to put up with a lot of times is the scrutiny that comes with what they do, with people watching every move they make, just to see if maybe somehow they've screwed up in their prophetic insights. You have those people who just can't leave it alone. Then you've got others who can't possibly, with I've Never Been to Me, can't possibly believe what these people do because they've never experienced it. They've maybe experienced an unusual moment, or a deja vu, or a quick knowing of something simple. But they blow it off as coincidence. They think it's coincidence. So these people have a very hard time here. And Patch Adams is a fantastic movie. It is a movie about laughter being contagious. And when we come to this, okay, these people tend to be the ones being laughed at, not laughed with. So this is something they also have to contend with. It is a hidden cost. It is what it is. And laughter really is contagious. One person can declare their disbelief or their nervousness over what they've heard and begin to laugh, and other people will join in. It's almost like a relief for these people that just cannot comprehend the possibility of what is being said and what these people do. So they laugh at it. So let's see what tarot has to share. All right, so we have Judgment. Yeah, I think the people who, like we talked about, love is difficult, or finding true love is probably difficult, but someone or several someones have been called to do that, to be a part of that person's life. And again, we've got the Two of Cups. The connection. There is going to be a connection with the person or group of people that these people know, that is going to be very profound, very emotional, very connected, unlike any other. Six of Cups. Yeah, this is a nostalgia card. I feel like the people who are the support system had past lives with these people. That's why they're so connected. They're part of their soul family. The Fool. This is how some people make these people feel, like a fool. But these people know how to take a risk because they have to. It's like Mel Gibson in The Patriot. He didn't want to fight because of his children, but he couldn't stop himself because the unfairness of being taxed from far away, money being taken and not used for his good, but the good of somebody else, another country. He just couldn't stand on that. So, same thing. These people have to share what they get. The Empress. These people that are looking for every detail really do believe that these true prophets create or make up everything that they say for the purpose of wealth, I suppose. So these prophets, even though they may look absolutely poor, may live in a shack, these people are going to think that they've got money stashed in an overseas account. Four of Pentacles. These are the people, and where it says I've never been to me, remember that these are the ones who blow off any kind of deja vu, or oh, I knew somebody was going to call. Anything like that is coincidence. They need to hang on to their humanity for some reason. They need to hang on to their humanity and stay solid in their life without any kind of magic, or they probably don't even celebrate Halloween in the sense of they may be very fearful. So they hang on to their stability with all their worth. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. Laughing is supposed to make the frequency rise, the human frequency rise. But that's when the laughter is genuine and not against any other human being. So sharing laughter is a harmonizing thing. It raises the frequency. It's amazing. But when it's used against someone else and that laughter becomes contagious, it is no longer a harmonic frequency. It takes on a whole different tone. All right, so let's move on to question 5 here. Obviously is not an easy life for those people who make claim to being prophets. And they might not use that term for themselves for sure, but for those that are close to them, they know how prophetic that they actually are and how genuine that they are. All right. Indecision there. Okay, so question 5. What happens when people begin to believe in prophecy? Would it be considered mass psychology or fanaticism? Is it a destiny cult? Is it blind surrender? What happens when people begin to believe in prophecy? And part of the thing here is belief shapes the action. So again, do they start a cult? What do they do? And these are not the prophets themselves, but the people who begin to believe in them. We have Forrest Gump. This to me is saying what can happen is a mishmash of many different things. If you think about Forrest Gump and everything that he accomplished in his life, there was no specific plan. He just went with the moment. And so I think this is saying that anything can happen. It depends on who the person is and where they're at, and whether they start a cult or whether it's going to be very mishmashy. And for some, it is going to be the reason that they cling on to someone who has prophetic visions or has prophetic insights, because they are looking for a connection that is like a mother and child reunion, a very special, tight connection. That's what they need. That's what they want. So they're going to jump on the bandwagon and follow this person almost to the point of being a stalker. War of the Worlds. There are going to be those who, depending on what the prophecy is, if it is a prophecy about possible end of the world or a war between countries or whatever it happens to be, if it's not a good prophecy, there are going to be those people who are going to hide because they believe so much in the prophecy, their life stops, other than whatever survival they have to, whatever survival techniques they decide to take on themselves. Or for some, it's just going to be a matter of hiding away. Hiding away. Let's make us a bomb shelter. Let's make us that is what the world is going to entail. Soulmate. There are going to be groups of people who fully mesh with the prophetic insights and prophetic vision. They understand that there is a divine purpose to any kind of prophetic insight or prophetic vision. So they are right on board with the fact that it is all in divine timing. It is all natural. It is the way that things are meant to be. And So you'll have those who are very much at peace with believing in prophecy, very much at peace with it. So then we have Bird Box, Airport, and 7 Years in Tibet. So with Bird Box, we have those people who absolutely refuse to believe. They will never open their eyes. They will refuse. So when it says what happens when people begin to believe in prophecy, well, you know what? Not everybody is going to believe, no matter what. We have a huge population. Not everybody is going to believe. And they will turn an absolute blind eye to anything that is said to them about this, about any kind of prophecy. They'll end friendships because they are that dead set against. Then you're going to have those who, well, feel it is their responsibility to save the human race from some kind of disaster. So they create a disaster that does basically the same thing in the name of saving humanity. I hope that made sense. And you have others who begin to study, to try to understand what they are hearing, what the prophet has shared. They will take time to spend time on their own to try and get more answers. And I'm not going to call this a cult. All this seems to be very individual. This group may be a specific group that comes together and celebrates all of this together. I think most everything else is pretty individual. So let us see what the tarot shares. We have the Page of Swords. Yeah, whatever it is, it's going to be each and every person's own truth. They're going to react however they believe is how they need to act in light of prophecy being kind of new. In other words, if many of them have never believed in prophecy and all of a sudden something hits them in the face and they're like, whoa, it is true. They're going to react in whatever way they react. It's going to be their message of truth. And then we have the Three of Swords here. So these people who want that connection, their belief isn't real because they're trying to hang on the coattails of someone else, almost idolizing someone else instead of trusting in who they are and trusting their own beliefs. Yeah, this one's a tough one, but they probably will never have a relationship of mother and child reunion type relationship because they continue to quest for meaning, but they're always yearning for something bigger. They're not true to themselves. And with the Page of Cups, these are the people who are emotionally young. The ones who will go and hide away. They are emotionally young. Might even be new souls on Earth. Knight of Swords. I had to stop for a moment and go put my chihuahua up on his chair. So Knight of Swords. These are the soldiers of truth. These are the advocates of any prophet, They are the ones who will go out and spread the message. It's what they do. Because they know it is natural. They know that what is being shared is factual. And then we have the Five of Wands. Yep, the energy here is too chaotic for these people to ever open their eyes. They too might be very young souls. Queen of Wands. Yeah, these people's passion is so strong that they think that they're doing something good for humanity, caring and nurturing and doing the right things, but in fact, it's a they do something horrendous, like crash an airplane on purpose, killing many people because they are saving them from this prophetic vision. Yeah, that kind of thing. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Yes, this is my Quest for Life card. And we have 7 years in Tibet. Like I said, there's going to be some people who are going to search for their own truth, to begin to study, to begin to learn. That's what they are going to do with this. When they start believing in prophecy and seeing the proof of that it actually is. All right, so we are moving on to the last question for this episode. This has been a very enlightening episode, in my opinion. The cards are kind of seem to be right on the mark for me anyway. All right. Okay, so question 6. What future unfolds when the truth of prophecy can no longer be denied? This is the moment prophecy becomes fact and everyone finally believes. Everyone. Even those people that refuse to open their eyes. And this is kind of a what if scenario, right? Okay, so let's see what it says. Everything becomes balanced. So there is no such thing as hot and cold anymore. If you remember the game. Where you hide something and someone goes to find it and it's like, oh, you're cold, you're nowhere near it, and oh, you're getting warmer, okay, so there's no such thing as hot and cold anymore. This is the balance. This is a balance card. Everything becomes balanced. Then we have Driving Miss Daisy. Any kind of debates that there are friendly ones. Excuse me. There's speculation. But it's friendly speculation because everybody believes. Some people are a little more in tune and that's respected. Meaning those who are speculating about the prophecy or talking about the prophecy, they are the ones, they have respect for one another and opinions. Minority Report. This movie has a negative connotation for any kind of, well, for the psychic world, okay? In that they use the psychics to determine if somebody is going to commit a crime or not. And if the psychics say, yes, it's, here's the percentage, 98% that they'll commit this crime, they will go and pick them up even before a crime could take place. Okay? So if everybody believes in truth of prophecy and it can no longer be denied, some of the information that comes forth is probably information that isn't meant to be known, or that certain powers don't want out there. So it is possible that a prophet could end up in a lot of trouble because they know that prophecy exists and they don't want other people to have access to that information. They don't want it to be public if they can help it. Kind of the way of it, right? All right, so let's see what else we have. The 39 steps. Yep, they'll put an end to it, meaning the powers that be will put an end to it as quickly as they possibly can. They might give some warnings, maybe, to the prophet, cease and desist, or this is going to happen to you. The blob, top of the world, and the butcher's wife. I think there comes a point in time where trying to explain a specific prophetic vision or insight, where it comes from, how a person got it, so on and so forth, that information just becomes a blob. It's not really even necessary anymore because everybody just believes. So it remains unexplained, but it remains in the world of belief. And at the top of the world, these prophets are deemed very special people. They have frequencies that are aligned with the divine. I'm going to say it that way. They have a true bond with the divine. They have connection, a connection that, a connection that just can't be denied. It just can't be denied. Do these people, these ones that want to keep these prophets quiet, do they have repercussions that happen to them because of what they attempt to do? I don't know. But in many ways, these prophets are considered very magical people. And there are those, not just the prophecies, but there are those people who really do believe they have specific powers. And they have a gift. They obviously have a gift that was built into their life, as we have seen through the other questions. But there are many people who do believe that they are magic. And they may very well be. They may have, and we call it magic, but they just may have an ability that we probably all are capable of, but they found theirs. So let's see what tarot has to share here for the last time. All right, so we have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, there's no longer a need to defend the visions because so many of them have come true that nobody can deny that prophecy is factual now. So there's no more need for defense. Queen of Swords. Yeah, everybody knows that it's truth, and they can talk about it with one another and do it in a loving and caring manner rather than snarling and nasty debate. And yeah. Then we have the King of Pentacles. Yes, we always have those humans who wish to control every aspect of every human's life. And that's what this is like, this Minority Report. The Moon, they want to keep humanity in the dark. We know the moon comes out at night. They want to keep humanity in the dark. So they don't want anybody shining any kind of light on anything that they don't wish us to know. That they think we're either not ready to know, or, usually I think it has to do with it might take away from the goodness of their life, the money they bring in, and that kind of thing. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, this is just taken for granted as a fiery energy that can't be stopped. Doesn't need to be explained any more than how fire burns quickly. Fire burns quickly. Fire burns pretty much everything in its path. The blob ate as much as it could possibly eat in its path. No explanation, it just did and could. Seven of Pentacles. Yes, I think I was correct when I said the people who are true prophets, that seed was planted at or before they were born. It was the life that they built to live this time around on earth, and they are just very patient towards when the calling comes to them to say, okay, now's the time to start. And they may do it all along, but they have to be old enough to speak, obviously. And yeah, so there comes a point in time where that seed that they planted connects them in such a way it can't be argued. And then we have the Four of Wands. This is the home of the magical person. It is the energy of stability. It is the energy of happiness. It's the energy of love. They have everything, which makes them appear very magical, I would think, to many, many people. Okay, so that is what we see for when prophecy can no longer be denied. There you have it. All right, that is it for this Fringe-inspired episode. I'm going to give you a teaser for episode 1 of the X-Files, which is what is replacing, after 10 weeks, what is replacing Fringe. It's X-Files. So here's your teaser. Coming up next, the X-Files inspired series. They told us it was just a show. The tarot says otherwise. Enter a series where government secrets, abductions, and psychic spies aren't fiction. They're warnings. The truth is colder than you think. So that is the teaser for episode 1. There will be 10 episodes of the X-Files, just as there has been of Fringe. The new schedule is up on the screen for you to see. And as you can see, I do 3 episodes per week, each of a different show. Their times each week for specific shows are the same. So I hope that you will take a look at the new episodes coming up. Twilight Zone will stay the same because there's 156 total episodes of Twilight Zone, and we've only covered 10 so far. So Twilight Zone's going to keep on rolling. But with all that said, thank you so much for spending time with me on my channel and for supporting in this way. Hopefully you've made it to the end here. So until next week, I'd like to say, please have a fantastic one. And until then, take care.